Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girbharadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girbharadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girbharadari Gopi Janavallabha Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari. Nitya Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Go Premanandi. Shri Shri Radharanath ki, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari ki, Shri Panchatattva ki, Krishna book ki, Srila Prabhupada's transcendental purports ki. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories and glories to Guru and Gauranga. The lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chevam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nasta Praisya Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for attending this Sunday morning. So we're reading, continuing from the Krishna book, chapter 72, the liberation of King Jarasandha. So the King Yudhishthira, the eldest of the Pandavas, wanted to perform a great Rajasuya sacrifice. Rajasuya means the king of all sacrifices. And he wanted to do this out of appreciation for the higher, for the Supreme Person of Godhead, and for the demigods, to please the demigods also. Not that he wanted to, generally people perform to enrich themselves for some material benefit, isn't? They're asking something in return. But Yudhishthira here, he made it very clear that he wants to glorify and assert the Supreme Person of Godhead as the summum bonum, the creator, the sustainer, the protector of the devotees. And Yudhishthira, if anybody knows, it's Yudhishthira who felt the brunt of the onslaught of the Kaurava king against his own cousins who wanted them out of the throne. So after the battle of Kurukshetra, when the Yudhishthira, Krishna wanted, his desire was the Pandavas' rule. And he installed Yudhishthira as the emperor of the universe. Not just one little town, but the whole universe, actually. Emperor of the universe. So the story goes like this. In the great assembly of respectable citizens, friends, relatives, brahmanas, sages, kshatriyas, and vaishyas, in the presence of all, including his brothers, King Yudhishthira directly addressed Lord Krishna as follows. My dear Lord Krishna, the sacrifice known as the Rajasuya Yagya is to be performed by the emperor and is considered the king of all sacrifices. By performing this sacrifice, I wish to satisfy all the demigods who are your empowered representatives within this material world, and I wish that you will kindly help me in this great venture so that it may be successfully executed. As far as the Pandavas are concerned, we have nothing to ask from the demigods. We are personally fully satisfied to be your devotees. As you say in Bhagavad Gita, persons bewildered by material desires worship the demigods. But my purpose is different. I want to perform this Rajasuya sacrifice and invite the demigods to show that they have no power independent of you, that they are all your servants, and you are the Supreme Personal Godhead. Foolish persons with a poor fund of knowledge consider your lordships an ordinary human being. Sometimes they try to find fault in you, and sometimes they defame you. Therefore, I wish to perform this Rajasuya Yagya. I wish to invite all the demigods, beginning from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other exalted chiefs of the heavenly planets, and in that great assembly of demigods from all parts of the universe. I want to substantiate that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that everyone is your servant. So we can see the mood of Yudhishthira. He is a devotee out and out. His consciousness is very clear that he has no other agenda but to please the Supreme Personality, Godhead. So he goes on, my dear Lord, those who are constantly in Krishna consciousness and who think of your lotus feet or your divine shoes are certainly freed from all contaminations of material life. Such persons who engage in your service in full Krishna consciousness will meditate upon you only and offer praise unto you. Are purified souls, being constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness service, they are freed from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Or even if they do not want to be freed from this material existence, but desire to enjoy material opulences, their desires are also fulfilled by their Krishna conscious activities. In fact, those are pure devotees of your lotus feet have no desire for material opulences. As far as we are concerned, we are fully surrendered unto your lotus feet, and by your grace we are so fortunate as to see you personally. Therefore, naturally, we have no desire for material opulences. The verdict of the Vedic wisdom is that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I want to establish this fact and also want to show the world the difference between accepting you as the Supreme Person of Godhead and accepting you as an ordinary, powerful, historical person. So it's a very poignant point here that Yudhishthira is making. Sometimes the skeptics who deny Krishna, that he's not God, he's some ordinary person. At best, he's some yogi or some historical figure. And based on that, so many versions of Bhagavad Gita were written by scholars and different impersonalists or mental speculators. In this way, the message of the Gita was compromised. We know that there's so many versions of Bhagavad Gita. There's like, I think like 16 different versions of Bhagavad Gita, all giving their own, in their opinion, but not caring for the opinion of Krishna. Therefore, Prabhupada, as the pure devotees in the parampara, come to establish this point, and Yudhishthira is also saying the same thing, that you are not some historical figure. So therefore, the purpose of this Raja was to establish that point and install Krishna as that personality. But to do that, he had to get the favor of all the kings of all the lands, and this is how, if they went against that, then there was war. He would start, and defeat them, and that way plunder all the wealth and bring it for this sacrifice. The sacrifice would cost a lot of Lakshmi. And therefore Arjun is known as Dhananjaya. Another name for Arjun is Dhananjaya. Dhana means wealth, one who secures wealth. So Arjun was defeating all the different princes and kings and bringing all the booty, the gold and whatever, back to perform this sacrifice. Therefore, we have no desire for material opulence. The verdict of the Vedic was that you are the supreme Godhead. I want to establish this fact, and I also want to show the world the difference between accepting you as a supreme Godhead and accepting you as an ordinary, powerful, historical person. I wish to show the world that one can attain the highest perfection of life simply by taking shelter of your lotus feet, exactly as one can satisfy the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers of an entire tree simply by watering the root. If one takes to Krishna consciousness, his life becomes fulfilled, both materially and spiritually. This does not mean that you are partial to the Krishna conscious person and indifferent to the non-Krishna conscious person. You are equal to everyone. That is your declaration. You cannot be partial to one and not interested in others. For you sit in everyone's heart as the supersoul and give everyone the respective results of his fruitive activities. You give every living entity the chance to enjoy this material world as he desires. As the supersoul, you sit in the body with the living entity, giving him the results of his own actions as well as opportunities to turn towards your devotional service by developing Krishna consciousness. You openly declare that one should surrender unto you, giving up all other engagements, and that you will take charge of him, giving him relief from the reactions of all sins. This is that conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharma parijaja mamakam sharanam braja am tvam sarve papapi moksha shishami. Krishna declares like that. This is the conclusion of that. We have to give up all other engagements and surrender unto him, and do not fear. The Lord will protect us. He will protect our material and spiritual, as he's saying here. You openly declare that one should surrender unto you, giving up all other engagements, and that you will take charge of him, giving him relief from the reactions of all sins. Still, the living entity remains attached to material activities and suffers or enjoys the reactions without your interference. You are like the desired tree in the heavenly planets, which awards benedictions according to one's desires. Yayatamam prapadyante, Krishna says, as one surrenders to me, I will reward him accordingly. And Prabhupada in the purport, he says, everyone is searching for Krishna in their own way. Everyone, even the atheists. On hearing this statement by King Yudhishthira, Lord Krishna replied as follows: My dear King Yudhishthira, O killer of enemies, O ideal justice personified, I completely support your decision to perform the Raja Soya sacrifice. After he performed this great sacrifice, your good name will remain well established forever in the history of human civilization. My dear king, I may inform you that all the great sages, your forefathers and demigods, and your relatives and friends, including me, desire that you perform the sacrifice, and I think that it will satisfy every living entity. But I request that you first conquer all the kings of the world and collect all the requisite paraphernalia for executing this great sacrifice. My dear King Yudhishthira, your four brothers are direct representatives of important demigods like Vayu and Indra. It is said that Bhima was born of the demigod Vayu, and that Arjuna was born of the demigod Indra. King Yudhishthira himself was born of the demigod Jamaraj. As such, your brothers are great heroes, and you are the most pious and self-controlled king, and are therefore known as Dharmaraj. All of you are so qualified in devotional service to me that I may have automatically been conquered by you. So the history of the sons of Kunti, they weren't direct sons of King Pandu. In the Mahabharata is described that Kunti, when she was very young, she performed very nice service to, who was that personality? This great Muni, Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni, it is said, he gets easily pleased and he gets also very easily angry. So he was so pleased by Kunti. She was still a very young, naive little girl, a teenager. And he benedicted, he said, I will give you mantras. Whatever mantras of all the demigods, and whatever mantra you desire, you chant that mantra. And he gave her all the mantras for the demigods. And that was his benediction to her, because he was so pleased by her service attitude to him. So, Kunti, being very young and naive, said, oh, I have all these mantras. Let me try it. And she tried the sun god, the mantra for the sun god. And lo and behold, the sun god appeared. And there was attraction between them. And there was a child born from that union. And that child was, the first son was Karna. But Karna was, Kunti wasn't even married then, it would be like a scandal. So she put the child in a little basket and sailed it down the river, and some persons found this baby in this basket and they took care of this child. Later it was revealed to Arjuna that this is your brother. Much later during the war, when Arjuna was destined to fight against Karna, Kunti is revealing this fact. She had it kept a secret for many, many years. And Pandu one day was going in the forest with Kunti. And the Kshatriyas, they are Kshatriyas and they can hunt. They have this license to hunt and kill. So while in the forest one day he saw a deer from a distance, and he fired his arrow. And as he got closer, he saw the deer was in very intimately with another deer. And the deer was dying. He said, you have shot me. But actually these were demigods who came to enjoy in the material world. They had to take kind of bodies like material bodies to enjoy. So the deer said, just as you have shot me while I was in embrace of my female counterpart, likewise, you will also die in embrace of your wife, Kunti. So when he had discussed, he was very cautious not to be anywhere near Kunti in close proximity, And so he could not sire any children. So this is how the sons of Pandu appeared. He invoked the mantra for Indra, and then Arjun was born. Then she invoked the mantra, as mentioned here, for Jamaraj, the Lord of Death, and then Yudhishthira appeared, like that. And Vayu, the sun, wind god. So this is how the sons of Pandu, they weren't the biological sons of Pandu, but they were sons of demigods. And they therefore were very, very powerful. They were very, very powerful. And of course the other two sons, Nakul and Yudhishthira and Sahadev, were the sons of the other wife. King Pandu had two wives. Also the same fate. They were born from demigods also, the twin Ashwini Kumaras. So this is the history of these sons. Lord Krishna told King Yudhishthira that life, that he is conquered by the love of one who has conquered his senses. One who has not conquered his senses cannot conquer the Supreme Person of Godhead. This is the secret of devotional service. To conquer the senses means to engage them constantly in the service of the Lord. The specific qualification of all the Pandava brothers was they were always engaged their senses in the Lord's service. One who thus engages his senses becomes purified. And with purified senses, the devotee can actually render transcendental loving service to the Lord and conquer him. Lord Krishna continued, There's no one in the three worlds of the universe, including the powerful demigods, who can surpass my devotees in any of the six opulences, namely wealth, strength, reputation, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Therefore, if you want to conquer the worldly kings, there is no possibility of their emerging victorious. So this is special mercy of the Supreme Lord to the Pandavas. When Lord Krishna thus encouraged King Yudhishthira, the king's face brightened like a blossoming flower because of transcendental happiness, and thus he ordered his younger brothers to conquer all the worldly kings in all directions. Lord Krishna empowered the Pandavas to execute his great mission of chastising the infidel miscreants of the world and giving protection to his faithful devotees, as he states in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glarir bhavati bharata. I come for that purpose, isn't it? To uphold dharma and to re-establish religious principles. And then he says, Parichanaya sadhunam, in the next verse. Vinasaya chaduskritam. I come for my devotees, to protect my devotees, and at the same time to annihilate the Parichanaya sadhunam. Vinasaya, to destroy the demons. So this is throughout his appearance in different incarnations, he comes for that purpose, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna continued, There's no one in the three worlds of the universe, including the powerful demigods, who can surpass my devotees in any of the six opulence. When Lord Krishna thus encouraged King Yudhishthira, the king's face brightened like a blossoming flower. I read that. In his Vishnu form, the Lord carries four weapons in his four hands. A lotus flower, a conch shell in two hands, and in the other two hands, a club and a disc. The club and disc are meant for the individual infidel miscreants and demons, and the lotus flower and conch shell are for the devotees. But because of the Lord is the supreme absolute, the result of all his weapons is one and the same. With the club and disc, he chastises the miscreants so that they may come to the senses and know that they are not the all in all. For above them there is the Supreme Lord. And by bugling with the conch shell and offering blessings with the lotus flower, he always assures the devotees that no one can vanquish them. even in the greatest calamity. King Yudhishthira, being thus assured by the indication of Lord Krishna, ordered his youngest brothers, Sahadev, accompanied by soldiers of the Srinjaya tribe, to conquer the southern countries. Similarly, he ordered Nakul, accompanied by the soldiers of Matsya Desha, to conquer the kings of the western side. He sent Arjun, accompanied by the soldiers of Kekaya Desha, to conquer the kings of the northern side. And he ordered Bhimashen, accompanied by the soldiers of Madra Desha or Madras, to conquer the kings on the eastern side. It may be noted that by dispatching his younger brothers to conquer in different directions, King Yudhishthira did not actually intend that they declare war upon the kings. Actually, the brothers started for different directions to inform their respective kings about King Yudhishthira's intention to perform the Rajasuya sacrifice. The kings were thus informed that they were required to pay taxes for the execution of the sacrifice. This payment of taxes to Emperor Yudhishthira meant that the king accepted subjugation before him. In case of a king's refusal to act accordingly, there was certainly a fight. Thus, by the influence and strength, the brothers conquered all the kings in different directions, and they were able to bring in sufficient taxes and presentations, which they brought before King Yudhishthira. King Yudhishthira was very anxious, however, when he heard that King Jarasandha of Magadha did not accept his sovereignty. Seeing King Yudhishthira's anxiety, Lord Krishna informed him of the plan explained by Uddhava for conquering King Jarasandha. So in the previous chapter, King Uddhava gives the plan how they will go to conquer Jarasandha. Jarasandha is the father-in-law of Kamsa. After Krishna killed Kamsa, Krishna came under a lot of criticism by the family of, therefore there was animosity between Jarasandha and Krishna, and Jarasandha did not favor him very nicely. Therefore, he did not want to give his blessings for the Joseph. He was in like an obstacle. And then, as he said, whoever stands as obstacles, they have to be defeated by the army. So the plan was, we're reading, Uddhava informed him of his plan, explained by Uddhava for conquering King Jarasandha. Bhimasen, Arjun, and Lord Krishna then started together with Girivraja, capital city of Jarasandha, dressing themselves in the garb of Brahmanas. They went incognito, isn't it? Of course, Kshatriyas, we know, they're very powerful, big arms, broad shoulders, and Brahmanas are very small, isn't they? Gentle. But nevertheless, this was the plan. This plan was devised by Uddhava before Lord Krishna started for Stanipur. And now it was given practical application. King Jarasandha was a very dutiful householder, and he had great respect for the Brahmanas. He was a great fighter, a Kshatriya king, but he was never neglectful of the Vedic injunctions. According to the Vedic injunctions, the Brahmanas are considered to be the spiritual masters of all other castes. Lord Krishna, Arjuna, and Bhimasen were actually Kshatriyas, but they dressed themselves as Brahmanas. And at that time, when King Jarasandha was to give charity to the Brahmanas and receive them as guests, they approached him. So they played on the sentiment of Jarasandha was very favorable to Brahmanas. And, just like Bali Maharaj, isn't? We know the story of King Bali after he conquered and took the land from Indra, and Indra was destitute, he had nothing, and he complained to the Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord appeared as king, as Vamana, yes, the dwarf incarnation, the younger brother of Indra actually, Upendra his name was. Upendra is the younger brother. But he came in the garb of a Brahmana. When Bali Maharaj saw, he was so taken by this beautiful effulgent, he was just attracted to this. And he said, "You have come to my palace. How can I serve you?" And Bali, and of course, Vamana saw the opportunity and he said, Vamana was just that size. He says, "I want 3 steps of land." And Bali looked at him and he sized him up. He said, 3 pieces of land is nothing. And he granted him that. But we know Vamana came with the move of cheating Bali. Even his guru was telling him, this Vamana comes to cheat you, but Bali was so attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the guise of this. He granted him that wish. And in the end, Bali gave everything. So Bali is credited for that. Atmani Vedanam, the 9 angas of devotion. The last anga is Atmani Vedanam. We gave everything, offered his head to the lotus feet of the Lord. He gave him everything. Although he was from a demon, actually he was the grandson of Prahlad. Bali Maharaj was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. But they were all part of the Daitya, the demon family. Even Prahlad was sometimes described as a Daitya because his father, Hiranyakashipu, was also a demon. Lord Krishna, in the dress of a Brahmana, said to the king, "We wish all glories to your majesty. We 3 guests at your royal palace have come from a great distance to ask for charity, and we hope that you will kindly bestow upon us whatever we ask from you. We know about your good qualities. A person who is tolerant is always prepared to tolerate everything, even though distressful. Just as a criminal can perform the most abominable acts, a greatly charitable person like you can give anything and everything for which he is asked. For a great personality like you, there is no distinction between relatives and outsiders." Of course, demons like to be praised. They get very carried away with words, isn't it? So Krishna was using that, actually was using some diplomacy to win the favor of Jarasandha. Great person like you, there is no distinction between relatives and outsiders. A famous man lives forever, even after his death. Therefore, any person who is completely fit and able to execute acts which will perpetuate his good name and fame, and yet does not do so, becomes abominable in the eyes of great persons. Such a person cannot be condemned enough, and his refusal to give charity is lamentable throughout his whole life. Your Majesty must have heard the glorious names of charitable personalities such as Arishchandra, Rantidev, and Mudgala, who used to live only on grains picked up from the paddy field, and the great Maharaj Sibi, who saved the life of a pigeon by supplying flesh from his own body. These great personalities have attained immortal fame simply by sacrificing the temporary and perishable body. Lord Krishna, in the garb of a Brahmana, thus convinced Jarasandha that fame is imperishable, but the body is perishable. If one can attain imperishable name and fame by sacrificing his perishable body, he becomes a great respectable figure in the history of human civilization. While Lord Krishna was speaking in the garb of a Brahmana, along with Arjuna and Bhima, Jarasandha marked that the 3 men did not appear to be actual Brahmanas. There were signs on their bodies by which Jarasandha could understand that they were Kshatriyas. Their shoulders were marked with impressions due to carrying bows. They had beautiful bodily structure, and their voices were grave and commanding. Thus he definitely concluded that they were not Brahmanas, but Kshatriyas. He also thought that he had seen them before somewhere. But although these 3 persons were Kshatriyas, they had come to his door begging alms like Brahmanas. Therefore he decided that he would fulfill their desires, in spite of the begging of being Kshatriyas, because they had already diminished the position by appearing before him as beggars. Under the circumstances, he thought, I am prepared to give them anything, even if they ask for my body. I shall not hesitate to offer it to them. In this regard, he began to think of Bali Maharaj. Lord Vishnu, in the dress of a Brahmana, appeared as a beggar before Bali and snatched away all of his opulence and his kingdom. He did this for the benefit of Indra, who, having been defeated by Bali Maharaj, was bereft of his kingdom. Although Bali Maharaj was cheated, his reputation as a great devotee, able to give anything and everything in charity, is still glorified throughout the three worlds. Bali Maharaj could guess that the Brahmana was Lord Vishnu himself and had come to him just to take away his opulent kingdom on behalf of Indra. Bali's spiritual master and family priest, Sukracharya, repeatedly warned him about this. Yet Bali did not hesitate to give in charity whatever the Brahmana wanted. And at last he gave up everything to that Brahmana. It is my strong determination, thought Jarasandha, that I can achieve immortal reputation by sacrificing this perishable body. I must act for this purpose. The life of a Kshatriya who does not live for the benefit of the Brahmana is certainly condemned. Actually, King Jarasandha was very liberal in giving charity to Brahmanas, and thus he informed Lord Krishna, Bhima and Arjuna, my dear Brahmanas, you may ask from me whatever you like. If you so desire, you may take my head also. I am prepared to give it. After this, Lord Krishna addressed Jarasandha as follows. My dear king, please note that we are not actually Brahmanas, nor have we come to ask for food or grain. We are all Kshatriyas, and we have come to beg a duel with you. We hope that you will agree to this proposal. You may note that there is the second son of King Pandu, Bhimasan, and the third son of Pandu, Arjun. As for myself, you may know that I am your old enemy, Krishna, the cousin of the Pandavas. When Lord Krishna disclosed the disguise, King Jarasandha laughed very loudly, and in great anger and in grave voice he explained, you fools, if you want to fight with me, I immediately grant your request. But Krishna, I know that you are a coward. I refuse to fight with you because you become very confused when you face me in fighting. Out of fear of me, you left your own city, Mathura, and now you have taken shelter within the sea. Therefore, I must refuse to fight with you. Also, there in the previous chapters, while Krishna was in battle against Jarasandha, they said 17 times he left the battle. And this is how he got the name Ranchor. Rancho means coward, one who runs away from battle. But actually that wasn't he wasn't fleeing from the battle. There was a higher purpose. You know, the pastime of, who was that? Rukmini. Rukmini was given by a brother to marry Shushupal. But she wasn't happy with that arrangement. And she wrote a letter and sent it with a messenger while Krishna was in battle to come and rescue her. She'll be at a certain temple and he must come and rescue her from this marriage to Shishupal. And of Krishna, while in battle, this Brahmin, he saw this letter and immediately he left to the call and beckon of Queen Rukmini. And in that way, he rescued her and married her in Kshatriya style. And there's different types of wedding, Kshatriya wedding, and other kinds of weddings, you know, shotgun wedding. Anyway, we won't go on with shotgun wedding. Of course, yeah, Kshatriyas can do that, they can. So, Krishna, this is how she became Krishna's queen in Dwarka. So, Jarasandha is remembering that. Let me go on here. As far as Arjuna is concerned, I know that he is younger than me and he is not an equal fighter. I refuse to fight with him because he is not in any way an equal competitor. But as far as Bhimashan is concerned, I think he is a suitable competitor to fight with me. After speaking in this way, King Jarasandha immediately handed a very heavy cup to Bhimasan. He himself took another, and all of them went outside the city walls to fight. Bhimasen and King Jarasandha engaged themselves in fighting, and with the respective clubs, which were strong as thunderbolts, they began to strike each other very severely. Both of them being eager to fight, they were both expert fighters with clubs, and the techniques of striking each other were so beautiful that they appeared to be two dramatic artists dancing on a stage. When the clubs of Jarasandha and Bhimasen loudly collided, the impact sounded like that of two big tusks of two fighting elephants, or like a thunderbolt in a flashing electrical storm. When two elephants fight together in a sugarcane field, each of them snatches a stick of sugarcane, holds it tightly in the trunk, and strikes the other. At that time, the sugarcane becomes smashed by such heavy striking. Similarly, when Bhimasen and Jarasandha were heavily striking each other with the clubs on different parts of the bodies, namely the shoulders, arms, and collarbone, chest, thighs, waist, and legs, the clubs became torn to pieces. In this way, all of the clubs used by Jarasandha and Bhimasen became ruined. And so the two enemies prepared to fight with the strong-fisted hands. Jarasandha and Bhimasen were very angry, and they began to smash each other with their fists. The striking of the fists sounded like the striking of iron bars or like the sound of thunderbolts. The two warriors appeared to be like two elephants fighting. Neither was able to defeat the other. However, both were expert in fighting. They were of equal strength, and the fighting techniques were also equal. Neither Jarasandha nor Bhimasen became fatigued or defeated in the fighting, although they struck each other continuously. At the end of each day's fighting, they lived at night as friends in Jarasandha's palace. Now this is amazing. In the day they were enemies, and at night they socialized. They would drink together and party together. As soon as the sun rose again, they became, similarly in the Battle of Kurukshetra, was like that also. As soon as the sun rose, they were enemies, and as soon as the sun set, they became friends again. So this is the code of Kshatriya code. So the fighting went on for many days. It's like 27 days. And by that time, Bhimasen, he was telling Arjun, I cannot go on. Neither Jarasandha nor Bhimasen became fatigued or defeated in fighting. Although they struck each other continuously. At the end of each day's fighting, they lived at night as friends in Jarasandha's palace, and the next day they fought again. In this way, they passed 27 days in fighting. On the 28th day, Bhimasen told Krishna, "My dear Krishna, I must frankly admit that I cannot conquer Jarasandha." Lord Krishna, however, knew the mystery of Jarasandha's birth. Jarasandha had been born in two different paths, from two different mothers. When his father saw that the baby was useless, he threw the two parts into the forest. They were later found by a witch named Jara, who was killed in the black arts. She managed to join the two parts of the baby from top to bottom. Knowing this, Lord Krishna therefore also knew how to kill him. He hinted to Bhimasen, that since Jarasandha was brought to life by joining of the two parts of his body, he could be killed by the separation of these two parts. So how this came to be, this was in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I was reading this pastime. This king could not have sons, although he had two queens, and he prayed for a son. So he went to one sage in the forest, and the sage gave him a mango to give to the queens, one mango. So the king gave to his two queens. They shared the one mango, and subsequently they became pregnant. But it was a horrific kind of birth. One queen gave to one very symmetrical part of the leg, arms, one side only, the right side, and the other gave birth to the other side. And when the king saw that, he could not accept that. He took this despicable and threw it in the forest, got rid of the body. But somehow it was found by this witch And she saw, witches, they live on flesh to become, so they get their power from eating children's flesh, like Putana also, blood and flesh. But when she saw, somehow she played with this, she put these two, and somehow she joined them together by some mystic power or some potion she used, and she saw this child became one, and he looked very beautiful. And she said, no, I cannot keep this child. So she took this child to the palace, knowing that this king was without his son, and she presented this child to the king as a gift. And so the king was so pleased by that, and he wanted to benedict her. And she said, no, I don't want anything. I just want you to name this child Jaisacinandana. After her name was Jara and Sanda, because she put together the two pieces. That's how we got the name Jaisacinandana. And Krishna remembered this. Krishna knows past, present, and future. He knows everything. He tells Arjuna in the 4th chapter, I know every birth, but you cannot remember. I know everything, but you cannot. So he remembered this pastime, and he told Arjuna how to go about fighting. So Lord Krishna transferred his power into the body of Bhimasen and informed him of the device by which Jarasandha could be killed. Lord Krishna picked up a twig from a tree, took it in his hand, and bifurcated it. In this way, he hinted to Bhimasen how Jarasandha could be killed. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is omnipotent, and if he wants to kill someone, no one can save that person. Similarly, if he wants to save someone, no one can. Krishna Mara, what's that verse? Krishna Raka Mare Ke, Krishna Raka Mare Ke, Krishna Mare Raka Ke. If Krishna wants to kill someone, no one can protect him. If Krishna wants to protect someone, no one can kill him. Informed of the hints of Lord Krishna, Bhimasen immediately took hold of Jarasandha's legs and threw him to the ground. When Jarasandha fell, Bhimasen immediately pressed one of Jarasandha's legs to the ground and took hold of the other leg with his two hands. Catching Jarasandha in this way, he tore his body in two, beginning from the anus up to the head, as an elephant breaks the branches of a tree in two. Bhimasen separated the body of Jarasandha. The audience standing nearby saw that Jarasandha's body was now divided into two halves, so that each half had one leg, one thigh, one testicle, half a backbone, half a chest, one collarbone, one arm, one eye, one ear, and half a face. Completely symmetrical, separated. As soon as this news of Jarasandha's death was announced, all the citizens of Magadha began to cry, alas, alas! While Lord Krishna and Arjuna embraced Bhimasen to congratulate him, although Jarasandha was killed, neither Krishna nor the two Pandavas' brothers made a claim to the throne. The purpose in killing Jarasandha was to stop him from creating a disturbance in the proper discharge of world peace. The demon always creates a disturbance wherever demigods always tries to keep peace in the world. The mission of Lord Krishna is to protect the righteous and kill the demons who disturb a peaceful situation. Therefore, Lord Krishna immediately called for the son of Jarasandha, whose name was Sahadev, and with due ritualistic ceremonies, the Lord asked him to occupy the seat of his father and reign over the kingdom peacefully. Lord Krishna is the master of the whole cosmic creation, and he wants everyone to live peacefully and execute Krishna consciousness. After installing Sahadev on the throne, he released all the kings and princes who had been imprisoned unnecessarily by Jarasandha. Just ends the Bhaktivinoda purpose of the 77th chapter of Krishna, the liberation of King Jarasandha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Book Ki Jai, Krishna the Supreme Person of Godhead Ki Jai. Go Premanandi, Hari Hari. Thank you very much. Is there any questions or comments? 8:30. On time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. That's my book.